5 review questions if you're about to take the FNP test, episode 3. Okay, so for today's review session, I'm going to go through and do like 5 to 10 questions, and then I'm going to put them on my study guide, like take notes like I did when I was actually studying for the exam. So to show you guys exactly how I intended for my study sheets to be used. You have a 47-year-old man who is being evaluated for acute rhinosinusitis during an urgent care visit. Which of the following findings would be most indicative of acute bacterial rhinosinusitis? Select 2 correct answers. So the options are purulent nasal discharge, persistent cough, initial symptom improvement and then worsening of symptoms, or unilateral facial pain. And the answer is the last 2. Initial symptom improvement and then worsening of symptoms and then unilateral facial pain. So in that case, what I'm going to do is, and you can like punch holes in this, put it in a binder, put it in a folder, but what I'm going to do is go on my HEENT sheet, and I'm going to say, I might go like over to the side here and put like acute bacterial rhinosinusitis pain. So I've just put that off to the side. Moving on. Okay, question number 2, we're going to do something completely different. We're going to go do a GI question. So flip to your GI paper. GI and ETOH, perfect, because this question is going to have to do with alcohol. So I'm going to say, this is our next question. You have a man in his 40s who drinks 8 to 10 drinks a day with a 12-hour history of acute onset epigastric pain radiating into the back. He is nauseous, he has vomiting, he has bloating, his abdomen is distended. What is the diagnosis? And the answer is pancreatitis. So I would go down here and put like ETOH plus abdominal pain, pancreatitis. Because again, I've made a video about this before. There are situations where because you are an alcoholic, sure, you could have an ulcer, or you could have, you need a cholecystectomy or something like that. But what they want you to know is that typically, in a perfect world, if you have abdominal pain and you're a heavy drinker, you're going to be diagnosed with pancreatitis. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want you to know like textbook presentation. They don't want you to be thinking yet about like less likely diagnoses. I hope that makes sense. So here's what I just wrote that down right here on my paper. Question number 3, what is the CURB 65 criteria? So this is an example of when you could put this a couple of different places. So I'm going to show you the couple of places where I would put it. Number 1, you can obviously put it in respiratory. You could say, because it has to do with pneumonia, right? But also I already have it on the mnemonics paper. And this is what I think would be a perfect place to put it. The CURB 65 right here. We can go ahead and write this down. So the C stands for confusion of new onset. Stands for blood urea nitrogen greater than 19. It's the BUN on a CMP or a BMP. And then the R stands for respiratory rate greater than 30 breaths per minute. The B stands for blood pressure less than 90 systolic or diastolic less than 60. And then the 65 is age 65 or older. So again, this is just supposed to be simple and you're able to take notes like as you do questions. So that's what I did there. All right, question number 4. Okay, make a list of the most to least energizing antidepressants. The most energizing, allegedly, is Prozac, then Zoloft, then Celexa, then Lexapro, then Paxil. Those are just the SSRIs listed in the text that I'm using. So again, where are we going to put that? I have the perfect place for you. Let's find pharmacology. There we go. All right, on my pharmacology paper, I have antidepressants, energizing to sedating. This is an example of when I would probably make a list off to the side here. Okay, so this is how I did it. I just put most to least, and then I listed them out and just drew an arrow over here. I don't mind when my notes are messy. I know some people do, but okay, that's how I would do that. Let's move on to question number 5, final question. Okay, and because I have just like 3 1/4-year-old, I find this question to be very fascinating. In a healthy 3 1/2-year-old, what percentage of speech should be intelligible by people who are not in daily contact with the child? And the question is nearly 100%. Isn't that crazy? So on your pediatrics, this is where I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this in pediatrics. I would say, just right down here, I would say nearly 100% of speech should be intelligible by someone not in the home. That's what I'm going to put here. Okay, so So I just wrote that down there in one of those bullet points. So that concludes our 5 questions. I have like flashcards I'm going to go over with you guys. The rest of my notebook here that we have to go through. This is how my notebook looked. And that's kind of what I'm trying to have you guys like avoid, is where your notes look like this and they look more like this, and they're a little bit more organized. So we're going to go through all this together. So stick around and stay tuned for part 4.